guys, so this video is going to be about sex negativity. I didn't know that that was a thing until very recently when I found an article online about it. I think it's bullshit that anyone would make anybody else feel bad for their sexual preferences, what they like to do in their free time, as long as they consent and they're not hurting anyone. What's the big deal? And I guess I shouldn't be surprised that the author of this article about sex negativity is a woman, because I would say probably about 90% of all of these slut shaming that I mentioned before that I experienced comes from women. So in order to make things crystal clear, I'm going to read you the definition of sex positivity from Wikipedia. Sex positivity is an attitude towards human sexuality that regards all consensual sexual activities as fundamentally healthy and pleasurable, and encourages sexual pleasure and experimentation. So far, I don't see anything wrong with that. Now, as long as you're practicing safe sex and you're using a condom or some other form of protection, sexual activity or even just masturbation has been proven to reduce your risk of several different types of cancer. So whenever it mentioned being healthy, they're not kidding. The reason why this is important to me is because growing up, I was raised very religious. I was made to feel that sexual activity on any level, even if it's just masturbation, myself alone, nobody else around me, I was made to feel like that was a sin. That was wrong. I was dirty. I was unclean. I was not pure for doing these types of things. And this is definitely not an uncommon thing. If you look at women, even in other countries especially, it's dangerous. You could even be killed for acting on your sexual desires. Some women, if they have sex outside of marriage, they could be killed. And a lot of religions teach that you should only have sex for reasons related to procreation, and that while you're doing it, you should try to not enjoy it, because that's bad. And it continues to say, the sex positive movement does not in general make moral or ethical distinctions between heterosexual or homosexual sex or masturbation regarding these choices as matters of personal preference. I think that sounds wonderful. I think that sounds accepting of people. What I don't hear in any of those definitions is that you have to have sex, or that if you don't want to have sex, you should have sex. And for some reason, that's what a lot of people think sex positivity is, that you have to have sexual desires, and if you don't, there's something wrong with you. Now, I want to make it very clear, there are a lot of women out there who have no desire to have sex, and men. There are people out there who identify as asexual, they just do not have those urges. And aside from that, even if you have those urges, sometimes you can go through periods in your life where you're just not interested in it at the time. These are all very normal things. No one should feel bad for having sex. No one should feel bad for not having sex. So without further ado, I'm going to read you this wonderful article that I found online about a woman who says that she's sex negative. Unpopular opinion. I'm a sex negative feminist. Sex negativity makes a lot of feminists feel uncomfortable, but I frankly couldn't give less of a damn if my politics hurts your feelings. She seems really nice. So she finally decided to come out about her sex negativity whenever she was interviewed by someone and asked about the topic, and this is what she said. Sex is not a realm separate from politics. It is always already political and social, and it doesn't happen in a vacuum. Sex is not a realm separate from politics. I don't know how many videos I've made sitting here bitching at the camera, complaining about how politics involves themselves in people's personal lives way too far whenever it gets into the bedroom. Aside from situations where consent is not given or cannot be given, it should be a realm separate from politics. Gay marriage wasn't legalized until very recently because people were grossed out about the thought of two men having sex or two women having sex. They were involved in people's lives, personally, in the bedroom, where they shouldn't have been to begin with, and that is a problem that happens whenever politics and sex are one. They are not, for a good reason. Kinks are not necessarily harmless. Even the notion of consent, considered by so many to be a simple matter, is problematic. Problematic. The word problematic is problematic for me. In a patriarchal society where women's agency is circumscribed by male supremacy, how meaningful is consent? How meaningful is consent? It's pretty meaningful. You can't say all consent is meaningless because we live in a society controlled by male supremacy. That's ridiculous. And I think it's pretty belittling to women out there. You're pretty much saying, you can't technically give consent because even if you think you're giving consent, you might not really be giving consent because you're just being mind controlled by the male supremacy powers on your brain. You don't even really have a choice. These issues are purposefully obscured by sex-positive feminists who believe that sex is an inherent good and that to feel otherwise is somehow aberrant, abnormal, a position that should be remedied. There's nothing about sex positivity that says you have to have sex, you have to like sex, you have to always consent to sex. Actually, consent was one of the most important things that sex positivity mentioned. Like I said before, I understand that there are people out there who have no sexual desires, or that someone who has sexual desires might be in a particular situation where they don't have sexual desires. If you don't want to have sex, that's okay. I support you. But you can't say that everyone should not want to have sex. You can't say that every woman that does want to have sex can't really know that she wants to have sex because of the men mind-controlling supremacy. So someone saw her responses in this interview that she gave, and they wrote a blog post about it criticizing her, and her response was this. According to the author of that post, the fact that I question the usefulness of the way that we currently talk about consent in feminist circles is truly dangerous. With all due respect, fuck that shit. Being sex negative doesn't mean that I fancy myself the chief inspector of the sex police, or that I'm personally judging what you do in bed, or that I'm conservative, or that I'm engaging in repressive moralizing. Actually, it kind of does. To say that the decisions that I make of my own free will aren't actually of my own free will because of some sort of pressure that I feel from a male supremacist society is very belittling and patronizing. She says that she's not engaging in repressive moralizing, but that's in fact exactly what she's doing. She says that she's not judging what you do in bed, yet the very next paragraph says this. What it does in fact mean is that the way you fuck is not private, apolitical, or outside the realm of critique. Being sex negative means acknowledging that sex and kink have nothing intrinsically good or positive about them. You say that sex is not outside the realm of critique. My response to you is that nothing is outside the realm of critique. But you are very heavily criticizing sex whenever you say there's nothing inherently good or positive about it. There's nothing good about sex. And even if you consent to it, you're not really consenting to it because you're being controlled. Not engaging in repressive moralizing, eh? We can talk freely and easily about how institutionalized and structural misogyny purports to give men unfettered access to our bodies, and how that materializes in street harassment, rape culture, and the restriction of access to reproductive health services, and about how sexist and unattainable beauty standards fuel hugely profitable industries that prey on women's insecurities, reward or penalize women on the basis of how closely they conform to these standards, and how this game plays into patriarchal, racist, and classist hands. Okay, I don't even know where to start with this paragraph. No one's talking about how institutionalized and structural misogyny gives men unfettered access to our bodies? What? That's what the purpose of consent is. If you don't want someone to touch you, you say no. I have been in several situations where I've had to say no. I've never had a guy be like, whoa, I have unfettered access to your body because I am male. And as far as the society aspect to that, if he did say something like that and forced himself on me, he would go to jail because there are laws against that type of thing. And whenever you talk about sexist and unattainable beauty standards that fuel hugely profitable industries, that prey on insecurities and reward people on the basis of how closely they can conform to these standards, you're not alone. This is not a problem that solely plagues women. I can't even begin to imagine how much money is spent on men trying to regrow their hair. There are men in my family that have used expensive products and even have gone as far as getting hair transplants. And there have been studies that prove that people favor men that have hair. They're given preference. There are standards. Unfortunately, we live in a world where people are judgmental. And that sucks. And I think we should work towards ending that. But it's never gonna happen if you say, this is only a problem that happens to me. Let me tell you something. Everyone is judged. No one feels like they look good enough. Everyone has insecurities. And media plays on that insecurity for everyone. And please, no whining about your hurt feelings. No whining about your hurt feelings. In other words, don't write a whole thing like this, whining about your hurt feelings. I can do it, but you... No, you can't do it, just me, only me, because vagina. I didn't figure out what I liked or what felt good to me until I was in my 20s, because I was so afraid to even masturbate. That's why I make so many videos on sex positivity, why I talk about masturbation, why I do sex toy reviews, because I think it's awesome and it shouldn't be taboo, and people shouldn't be afraid to talk about it. And actually, where I do these videos, these product reviews, people love it, because they get to see me talking about these things like, it's not a big deal, because it's not a big deal. It feels good. Sex feels good. Make sure that you're safe. Make sure that everyone is consenting because they can. And don't freaking feel guilt about every damn thing that you do. And on that note, I did another one of these unboxing reviews because adamandeve.com is awesome. And they keep coming back to me because they love the responses that they get on my videos. People like these videos and they like to see people liking these videos. So with that said, make sure to check out my video unboxing a bunch of awesome toys that are fun and feel great that you don't have to feel bad about using. I have a link to that video in the description below, and as usual, make sure you use my name at checkout, Jaclyn, Jaclyn. That's a good code to use because you get 50% off any one item and free shipping. So not only do you get to make yourself feel good, you get to do it at a discount, which makes it feel even better. Anyway, so yeah, thank you to adamandeve.com for continuing to support my channel and continuing to allow my subscribers these awesome benefits. I'm so glad that I've been able to open up this discussion for people and make them feel comfortable and make them explore things that they felt guilty for doing before. I think that's awesome. It's a positive thing. It's a good thing. It makes me feel good. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel really good. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, thanks for watching this video. I know this was a very long video. It was loaded. There was a lot that I was talking about. So please join the discussion in the comment section below. If you agree with me, let me know. If you disagree with me, even more so, please let me know. Explain yourself. I am open to learning new things, but this is something that I've been passionate about for a long time because I've been shamed. I'm sure everyone out there has been shamed. It's something that happens way too often, and I think it's a conversation that needs to continue. So let me hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Check out that unboxing video. It's a lot of fun. Like this video, share it everywhere. All my other social media links are in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hey guys, and welcome to another unboxing from adamandeve.com. I'm so excited that you guys came over to this video because they sent me a box of a lot of really cool things, and I can't wait to show you everything that I have.